Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is. Where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. Where them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so hard to.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kimberly with Unseen Twisted Truth. We are the People's Podcast. And I got Henry.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
And I don't know where everybody else is. They'll be here a little bit. SGF Graham, how are you?
Peace. How you doing? I'm doing good.
All is truly well. We were trying to get the camcorder hooked up, but then the piece that we needed failed us. And last minute, I couldn't find it. But anyways, that's what we were doing. So sorry for the lateness, everyone. And we're here to talk about self-awareness without the ego. What do you think that means? I mean, I know it means what it sounds like, but SGF Graham, what do you think that means?
I don't know if you were talking to me.
Self-awareness. Yeah, that's what I want. Self-awareness. Knowing what's really going on with yourself. Um, actually, uh, I guess the things that I saw that you wrote in the description is hard not to repeat some of those things. You know,
Mm.
before you speak, before you have Henry say it, but able to reflect, um, doing shadow work, or some type of whatever you like to call it. Shadow work is reflection. Things like that. If you're not willing to do all of that and more that I did not name, way more that I did not name, you might not even know what being self-aware is. Well, you're just aware that you're here, but are you self-aware? Like most people I know, I had a friend, um, good friend. He was a white guy. His dad owns a trucking company, and his family allowed us to be cool all the way up until 11th grade. And he pulled me to the side and said his dad was giving him his business. His dad controlled the friends and everything. Um, and he ran with it. Of course, that's family business and that's money. I didn't blame him. We was young. I was like, boy, go get that money. That's family business. Don't kill it over a friend. And I saw him at our 10-year anniversary, and he told me he was just now finding himself because he was living his whole dad's dream. And when his dad passed away, that's when he started really figuring out what he liked in life.
Yeah,
He was not
I can.
self-aware.
Yeah,
I think it's good to start with self-awareness too, and then we can branch off and see how that's connected with ego. Obviously, that's in the title, but
Yeah,
self-awareness is
you
important.
you had like three different categories. So when I was reading it, I was like, what are we going to attack first? I figured it might be in order.
no, that's a good idea. Because we're going to branch because we've discovered and we already talked about before self-awareness. Now this is different though when it's without your ego. So we're going to branch off because it was just the title itself, but there's so much to talk about when you talk about self-awareness, especially when you involve the ego.
Yes.
So Henry, what's your take of it, and then we'll ask Gilly.
Um, Well, I guess pertaining specifically to the title, you know, our ego and our superego affect our self-awareness. How aware of yourself are you? Are you aware that you are better than other people, or are you aware that you're on the same kind of plane of existence as everybody and we're all striving to do the same? I'm interested as where that puts in. But I guess spending so much time not self-aware, which I 100% feel like I spent most of my life not knowing anything about anything, especially myself. Now I feel quite self-aware, and I would say it ranges from beautiful to painful. And I'll move on to Gilly at that point.
So, Gilly, what do you think the title means? Self-awareness without ego. Oh, hold on, Gilly.
I'm muted.
Yep, go ahead. I got you.
All right. I think that ego in general is another sort of buzzword popular term to use these days. In terms of what I think ego is it's really sort of your sense of self. Your sense of self can be off. It can be off in a negative direction. It can be off in, hyper. What's the word I'm looking for? It can be off in an inflated way, but just the ego itself, I don't think is a terrible thing. It's how we identify ourselves and how we see ourselves. And ego versus self-awareness, I think that when there's other ways that ego is used. You talk about people have fragile egos, or people have grandiose egos. So that's going to affect your level of self-awareness. If you're either too self-conscious, or if you are sort of clueless to who you are or how you affect other people, how you come off to other people. Because I think at the end of the day, self-awareness, since we're social creatures, tends to be how we come off and how we're perceived by other people. How good is our understanding of that? And how good is our understanding of self when we're all by ourselves without anybody to sort of bounce it off?
That's important too. Do you drive yourself crazy? You don't. I mean, everything we learn on the playground about life.
Right.
So, my take on it is that, to be aware of yourself is to know your existence and to know that you are here in the same realm as others, to put away your pride and your ego. And I don't mean just the ability to know who you are, that form of ego. I'm talking about the one where you feel like you're being attacked, where you feel like you have to constantly defend yourself, where you feel like you have a battle within self constantly, of knowing the difference between that. That's where I was coming from. Knowing and being aware of yourself and putting away your pride and your ego and anything that is making it feel like you are beneath or above and superior to others. And just tackling the fact that we're all trying to figure it out. And there's no right and wrong answer to anything. Two wrongs don't always make a right. Yet people think they have to do a tit for tat just to have a get back. And now the get back, is that pride? Is that ego? Go ahead.
Pride's a misused word. I think pride's a very important word that you brought up. Pride and an inflated sense of ego are actually two different things. True pride actually carries a sense of being humble with it, in most cases.
What did Danny say?
To me, when ego is removed from self-awareness, there is no need to prove anything. You can acknowledge your mistakes without shame, celebrate your successes without arrogance, and remain open to learning from every experience. It is a mindset of humility and clarity, seeing yourself as you truly are, not as you wish to be seen.
I like that.
I'm actually really inclined to like that, Danny.
I like that a lot.
Explanation.
And that's what it is too. It's to feel, not the ability to be able to react without feeling like you're under attack. without feeling like it's only you that this world is shitting on. Because I promise you, it's shitting on all of us. Life is hard and it be lifing
New bumper
constantly.
Got hands some days.
That is a new bumper
That is
sticker.
a bumper sticker.
Shitting on all of us.
Oh my goodness.
So what were you gonna say? What are the key points?
Oh, I always look into everything. I was just kind of like doubling back on researching id and ego today, and especially Freud, because I like how brutal he is. Um, once again, some good ideas there, but it's funny because we talk about ego more than we talk about our super ego, which is essentially just a built-in moral compass. And a lot of people think they hear super ego and that's not what it means. But it's important to pay attention to that. And that is always clashing with the ego and the id specifically, which is just like primal function in the brain.
Henry, maybe you can explain the difference in case people
But
aren't
between id
sure.
and
Between
id
ego
and
and
super ego,
ego.
that the ego is essentially your drive towards self,
Mhm.
right? And so it's very self-centered. It can be self-centered. It can be inflated, like you said. It can be fragile, or it can be well balanced. But that is your drive to do things for yourself. And the superego, like I said, is a moral compass. It is established. I'm trying to not go off my phone, actually. It's established at a young age, probably from parental figures and authority figures, mostly. These are your key points in instilling your sense of socially acceptable and socially not acceptable. And like I said, the id's just your basic, what are you on, lizard brain. It is survive and prevail amongst all other needs. And there's not a lot of thought that goes into it. It's an autopilot survival mode. I guess that's a good enough description.
So, I know somebody who went through a situation, and that was a key point to do this topic, where they made a mistake within their marriage. Then their spouse made the equal mistake within their marriage. And they, I don't know if they forgive themselves, but they're having a hard time forgiving the spouse's mistake, even though they both did it. And I don't think it's really a hard time forgiving. It's a hard time not remembering. So they're constantly beating themselves up over it, and they're constantly bringing it up within themselves to their spouse about the reaction that they both, about the action they both did. So
So the action that they're constantly bringing up their own action and saying I'm sorry, or they're constantly bringing up the other's action and still being hurt or resentful.
yes, the others, and it's not a equal party. It's, even if they don't bring it up, he's still beating himself up over the fact of that it was done to him.
Okay.
So how can we help him realize you have two choices? Either you guys get a divorce and call it quits, or you fall in love all over again and forget about what happened. That's
We
that's
discussed it.
yeah,
so-
we discussed this beforehand, so we don't know. But that's the option. You have two options there. You either can say, screw this, I can't grow past this.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we both did it, I can't grow past this. And you just call it quits, or fall in love. That's what I said. Like, or fall in love all over again and realize why you're both still together.
Well, I think that falls heavily into self-awareness. Self-awareness to know why you did the action in the first place, and maybe understanding things about yourself that need attention, or understanding things in the relationship that need attention, and rather than giving it attention, they both sort of act it out. And then also self-awareness into, are you a person who's able to let go of something? Are you a person who's able to forgive and forget? Not everybody is, and there's not a right or wrong to that. It just an is. And I think that if either of them came to the conclusion that I'm not somebody who can do this, then the respectful thing to do to both parties, let go. But if they're both able to say, here are the things that were happening to me, here are the things that were happening in the marriage, I think these have to do with some of the reasons I acted out. But can we move on from this? Can we work on the things that actually triggered the actions, as opposed to trying to get some sort of retribution or and I'm sorry that's going to make a difference? Because obviously the I'm sorries have been said.
So let's say, for example, without putting too much in there, the other action, even though it's equal matched, the parties were different, so they feel that the other person, when they did what they did, they could have benefited more from it. They feel that like he will feel that his wife, even though they both did the same thing, what she did would have benefited her more than what he did, even though it was the exact same action, because of problems within himself. Because he feels like now he gained weight, he's not athletic no more. Now his health is deteriorating, he's not able to work like he used to. Now, he's not able to bring in the money like he used to at the same amount he used to. Now he's not as young as he used to be. So he feels that what she did will benefit her more than what he did, even though they were both the same thing, because of his ego within himself, because of his pride of self. Instead of learning to love himself and realize why she's still with him and she still loves him and she still want to make this marriage work, he's beating himself up over things that within his own mind.
Is he beating
His own.
himself up, or is he sort of blaming her for what happened and feeling bad about his state?
He's beating himself up.
There's another factor, which is trust. You can move on, but trust is something to be honed over a period of time, living and observing someone's behaviors, right? And once that is broken, it's a very hard thing to reclaim.
So let's say they both have a gambling problem and they both spent $10,000. Okay, he spent $10,000 at a casino. She spent the $10,000 at a gym buying sexy lingerie and stuff like that. And
He said, "Look what I bought."
and said, "Look what I bought." And so, like, he cannot compete to that $10,000 that they both equally spent, even though they both equally spent the same amount of money. It's the fact of that he did his and didn't have nothing to show for it. It was a one-time thing, and that was it. She had hers in it. It was an everlasting thought that was constantly coming back because she still has, images and pictures of what she did.
It almost sounds like there's some resentment, and I can understand that. Of sometimes we have partners that are better at taking care of their own needs and wants, that are better at identifying the things that they want and not asking necessarily for permission or how fair it is or if there's equity, and just acting on it. And it sounds like maybe that's what, and I don't know these people, so I'm just saying that it is sometimes hard in a relationship, especially if you have betrayal issues or you have abandonment issues, or you have self-esteem issues, which, you know, speak to the ego, to feel as though that you no longer are as valuable in the relationship and to the world. And perhaps what he needs to do is focus on that. I think it's natural. I think that jealousy is a natural thing. And you ideally don't want jealousy within a relationship. You ideally want trust. You ideally want, you know, co-support. But the reality is that we're human and we feel bad about ourselves. And we have all these things that we compare ourselves to. And when you're comparing yourself to your own spouse, that might be a little hard.
Facts.
That's something you can't turn off.
SGF Graham, I want to hear your input on that.
Yeah, I've been a little bit quiet because you said a trigger word to me. You said a trigger statement to me, talking about growing past it. How you know that the person growing past it was not leaving it. Whatever, when you said grow past it or whatever, I grew right past you. We grew past each other. Whatever. If we gotta get to that level to where we have to step out on each other, and especially the one that is infatuated with it, it dang near feels like the main one is number two or whatever, you know, like he tripping. And you know, she's obviously grown past him, but still want her situation as well. Whatever, you know, she might not be self-aware. He obviously isn't because he's dealing with it, and it was just a one-time thing with him, and it's a continuation, or wish to be a continuation at least. I mean, sometimes growth is away from each other. Whatever, I grew away from you or whatever, you know, as long as I stayed here, we were stunting each other's growth.
Now, both of them, it was a one-time thing for both of them.
But one is still got pictures and everything, and one was just I got you back.
They don't have pictures no more. Neither of them do. They saw pictures. They saw the picture.
It was burned into their retinas?
Yeah.
Correct.
And they can't undo what they saw. It wasn't put in your face, not here, I'm going to show you pictures. It was sent to them with pictures. And it wasn't by the spouse's choice. The spouse didn't do it as a get back to say, hey, look what I did. Somebody else did it just to be a part of it and to add fuel to the fire.
So one did it and got caught, and the other one deliberately came back and said, look what I did?
No. They both did it equally. Not one got caught and the other one didn't. They both equally did it. They both equally spent $10,000.
But I think what Cyrus is asking is, one got caught and then did the other one get caught because they told on themselves? Or because they came back and was like, look what I did now?
No. I was explaining it. Both of them equally, like, he spent the $10,000 first. And then told her he spent the $10,000. So she went and spent $10,000. Because he did it, so she did it. Well, somebody on the outside sent pictures of what she spent the $10,000 on.
The store clerk.
Yeah, or whoever it was. I don't know who it was. But anyway, sent pictures of what she spent the $10,000 on. She didn't send the pictures. She just said, you know, I too spent $10,000. He's got pictures of what she spent it on. And now, even though he erased the pictures and he no longer has the pictures, he can't unsee the image in his head of what she spent it on. And he just went to the casino and blew it.
All right,
she don't have the product.
I mean, my biggest question now is, how are they getting this money?
I got a question for you ladies.
Okay.
So is it true that when you step out, the relationship is pretty much done? Because if that's true, then the answer is already said.
And it
That's
depends
what
on
I
if
hear.
both people, and that's what I think. It depends on if both people can equally forgive one another and move past it. That's the issue. The issue is, can you both equally forgive each other? I want to talk to you about something about the phone situation when your cousin made a stat about the phone situation. Can we talk about that?
I don't even remember that no more. I don't even know what you're talking about. I responded
Um,
though.
he made a well, I just want to talk about it only because it's relevant to what we're speaking on. About, is it okay if the man goes through the woman's phone?
Oh, me personally, I don't. That ain't my situation or whatever. But I feel like if I have to do that, then it's already over. I'm
And
not
I
going through it.
and I equally agree with that. I equally agree with that.
Cue trust.
I equally agree with that. So that'd be like, oh, I'm going to go through your phone because you went through my phone. It shouldn't be like that. If someone done something, I don't think it should have to be a tit for tat situation to get a get back. I think they done it. Now we have to talk about what happened and go from it. Not now I'm going to do it too because you did it. Because now that's a whole nother problem. Now you're adding more to the situation of the relationship because now not only did you feel the need to invade my personal space for a problem because you must not trust me. So I must either one, be doing something to make you feel that you have to do that, or two, maybe you're doing something and that you are pushing that onto me.
These things always start off slow. It's funny.
Well,
I want to
I
read this.
definitely think
I
that
want.
going through somebody's phone is a symptom
I want you to read this.
of like you said, why is the trust not there? Why is the communication not there? Why is the insecurity? Now been there have been instances where I've needed to go through someone's phone, and without getting into it, but essentially their behavior was escalating and becoming dangerous, and it was a matter of me trying to figure out if there's something going on, that he's doing that's making him erratic. Plus he had broken mine. So that was on him. But and the stuff that I found, I needed to find. But there have been other instances where just being insecure, being not trusting, I have, either gone through someone's phone or had my phone looked at. And that's because there was lack of trust and lack of communication. And if we're talking about self-awareness, sometimes the lack of communication could totally be placed on me because I was afraid to ask. I was afraid to speak up and say, no, I don't like this, or this is making me feel insecure, or this feels inequitable or unfair. So that was a matter of I had to self-reflect.
I want to read these comments because there's a bunch, and it's gonna go back from where we're no longer at.
No, I agree though, Gilly, 100%. There's certain
So this comment
situations.
says,
You want me to read it?
no, yeah, I do.
Kendall Cobb says, I would try to fall in love all over again. A working relationship is never perfect. It's always a work in progress in all aspects throughout our lives, unless it's to a certain point of how much damage the person did, or to a point it's no longer safe, etc. Getting even won't solve anything. When people choose to act upon themselves out of jealousy or greed, there has to be a deeper root to make them act out that way. I would suggest counsel. Yes. Yeah, it's getting even, which it isn't cool at all. It is blackmail. And it's not always the case.
Now, I didn't want to go too far because I thought I seen more comments, and I didn't know if it was going to go back to what we were talking about beforehand or to now. So I didn't want it to go, because sometimes when we forget the comments of the people are commenting, it gets to be about something that we talked about a while back.
We got a balance between real time and comment and
Yeah,
things, so
so-
so it flows better and we're
Yeah.
not rude.
So, anyways, about the phone situation, though, my personal opinion is I stick with SGF Graham, what he said. If you feel the need that you have to search someone's phone, now the problem either lies with that person or the problem lies with you. You either have a problem with your own pride and your own ego of self, or that person's gave you enough. I wouldn't even search the phone though. I'm telling you, I will never search someone's phone. I done it once when I was younger and I found something because I was looking for something. Even though I blew it out of proportion, it really wasn't what it was. It doesn't matter. When you go looking for something, you're going to find something regardless of what it is. And your mind is going to play the best tricks on you and make a situation into something that's nothing. And if you feel the need that you have to go through someone's stuff, then leave that person. I don't have a lock on my stuff. I don't have things hidden. And if I do, everybody has the password, including Henry. I don't hide nothing. But if you ever feel the need that you have to go back and go through my stuff and search through my stuff, then obviously we don't need to be together because there's nothing I'm doing that's hiding anything. I don't hurry up and hide my phone. I don't turn it over. I don't do those key things that people do. Honestly, if someone really wants to go, go. Nobody's forcing no one to be somewhere where they're not wanted or they don't want to be.
Well, there are situations where, for instance, when I initially got separated, his behavior became hyper abusive. What it was became escalated, and it's something called, post separation abuse that a lot of people really aren't aware of until they're in a situation. And he had attacked my children and I, and then broken my phone, which to me was a threat on our lives. And so when he did that, the police gave me his phone. I had never looked through his phone before. I had never even thought about looking through his phone before. And we had been married 7 years at that point. And it's a good thing that I did, because I found out all the things that he had been doing for the past year. I didn't have access to the bank accounts. He'd been hiding money. He'd been spending tremendous amounts of money on strippers and alcohol and prostitutes while I was making kids gifts like I was an elf. He was smearing me to neighbors, to friends with false information. And so it was one of those things where I'm glad that I was able to look through his phone, because and no, I never went back to him, but the attack was enough for me not to go back. But I feel I had every right and responsibility to go through his phone to figure out what the hell was happening.
Okay, so we got situations where it is pertinent. Obviously, even the police got to go through phones for homicide things. I mean, it's a little different than a relationship. But I think it does double back to the point is what are y'all, what are we doing it for when it gets that bad? Obviously, like, it was really bad. Um, but we got to stay on. We still got to stay on topic.
Well, I was
It's
just
it's
saying that it's not always. There are circumstances where you go through somebody's phone because of something other than ego, because of something other than trying to dig up dirt. Because I also relate to having my stuff gone through, not only gone through but stolen, shared, and it's a major breach of trust and privacy. And it's very hard to come back from that, particularly because people can share that information or use that information in any way they want. And that's, that's dangerous. That's
Phone,
harmful to a person's life.
phones are a serious. There's something that's always coming up now in domestic issues, right? They take my phone, you have my phone, you look at my phone. It's become a lifeline to everything, and it's a little window into everything, our most personal lives and aspects. And what's that feel like on the other side? Because I personally, right now, with the person I'm with, I leave my phone with them. I don't. And not only just because I wouldn't care that they, or I would trust them not to look through it. I don't care. because I believe that we're in a spot where that's just fine. I never go through their phone. I never need to. But it's just that feels good.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good to be in that kind of plane because I wasn't like that before. It's not like, and it wasn't even like I was trying to hide anything in certain situations and relationships. I just get scrutinized over things. Because it's things I like.
Can you come back from a place of lack of trust? Can you rebuild that over again with the same individual that you got that lack of trust from?
Podcast answer or Henry answer?
Whatever.
I don't think many people are actually monogamous. I think it's very hard. It's something to be practiced, and I don't know who it's pertinent to. I most certainly am, to a degree, non-monogamous. I absolutely love my partner, but I just don't think people are like that. I think once someone cheats or does something like that, they might just have people just like fuck. And sadly, I don't always tie love and sex together in the same way that other people do. I think people have to come to really serious understandings about trust and who they are. And being self-aware is really important in building strong relationships with not only partners, but people in real life. Because once you're self-aware enough to know that everything is going on with you, that's how we start gravitating towards healthy people and relationships.
So, SGF Graham, do you feel that trust can be rebuilt in a situation, or once the trust is gone, it's gone?
I guess it can, but it's gone for me or whatever. I got something else to do, whatever. But I'm not everybody else, so that's why I kind of hate that the subject kind of twisted to that, because they got to live their life or whatever. What they can deal with, I might cannot, or vice versa. Whatever. And me personally, I wouldn't deal with none of it. Whatever, like I said, I would take that as this is stagnant. This is where the growth for us ends, and I don't have no ill feelings about it. Whatever, I'm more mad that this was probably over months ago and we just wasted time. Like, that will be the thing that will bother me the most out of the whole thing. Like, the time that we lost until we got to this point that this happened. Like, we should have probably stopped then or corrected this then. But now for me, it's stagnant, and I will grow another way.
It's interesting how cheating is the only barometer that we actually talk about a lot of the time when it comes to that. Because when it comes to trust,
Well, I was going to say, Henry, that there's a lot of different types of betrayal that happen within relationships, and they don't just happen within romantic relationships, they happen within platonic relationships. And it opens the whole conversation of betrayal trauma. There are betrayals with money, there's betrayals with lying, there's betrayals with alternate lives, there's betrayals with smearing somebody or talking shit about somebody or harming them, doing something harmful or petty or vindictive behind their back. There's all sorts of betrayals that have nothing to do with monogamy, non-monogamy, cheating.
Right.
And so I think that as far as like to answer the question, it depends on, one, is this a behavior? Is this a personality problem? Is the person who betrayed you, is this a personality problem? Is this a set of behaviors that is just inherent to them that they're not going to work on? Is it something that the person is truly acknowledging and taking ownership of and saying, I'm going to work on these things? Or is it just both people saying, it's not going to work, in my opinion, if it's just both people saying, let's forget it. Let's forget it and move on. I think it can work if they're willing to say, let's address this so we can move on, and address it not in a way to hurt the other person or keep whipping the other person. You did this, you did this. But address it in a way that this happened. What was going on when this happened? What things do you need from me that you maybe feel you weren't getting? Am I capable of giving those to you? What things do I need from you in order to establish trust? And are you going to be okay with me saying, I'm not there yet? I need more reassurance. I need more validation that I can trust you. And I think it's a matter of work, but relationships are work. I mean, you think about, you can have betrayal between children and parents. You can have betrayal between siblings. You can have betrayal between coworkers or business partners. And it depends on if that partnership, if that relationship is important enough to you and to both people, then you will work through it.
Okay, 1 second before we get too far. I think this was about the phone situation. So,
Let's see what they got to say.
do you want to read? It was Kendall's, but I don't even cover up Gilly with it.
No, sorry, Gil. You and Danny get covered. Kendall Cobb says, when my brother died, I was given his cell by the police, etc. We had to open his files and recover the passwords and hacking into his files for obvious reasons for information. After he died, it was really hard to do when there was a lot to deal with at the time being. I still remember getting overwhelmed just for finding such information. It's not even worth mentioning online. To this day, I still have a cell for emergencies, and I still keep it aside. It's another level for respect.
That's it.
Yes. Kendall.
And that was a lot, and I knew it had to do with the phone situation. Still, it's not even about phones though. It's just about if you feel the need. If you feel the trust is gone, now you got to have to work on that. Now, either is it worth rebuilding? You got to be able to forgive and forget. You got to be able to and not bring it up again, and don't keep beating the person up over it. Then you have to look within yourself and realize maybe there's an issue with you. Maybe you're not capable. Maybe it hurt you so much and it brought up so much trauma and whatnot from within inside of yourself that you can't surpass it. I'm so with SGF Graham on this one though, on all the way. Like if it comes to the fact of that you no longer feel that you can trust me, then I'm gonna doubt everything you're doing. Because I'm so transparent with what I do.
I want to say that it makes sense. I want to say this cheating is like not something you just wake up and do, or spending or whatever you're doing. It's not something that just happens immediately. It is a pattern of disrespect that leads up to it, and neglect, and probably self-centeredness and ego, and we end up at that stage. So I think it's important to look at things that happen before the cheating. That is the aspect of it, but that's why I think it's important. If things are going stagnant, like this, such SGF said, it's hard to acknowledge that. It's hard to move on from that.
In a relationship, even in a friendship, even in a job, we can grow past each other. We can overgrow the person and no longer be the same person that we fell in love with. You are now a whole different person, and I don't even know who you are anymore because I grew past you. And now you're still stuck in the ways you were when we were 20. And now we're 30 and 40. And you're still acting like you're 20. I can't build with that. So I think before you have children, I think before you get into a relationship, just like a job, you have to fill out a questionnaire and you have to fill out an application and you have to do all the stuff and go do research and counseling and everything before you decide to bring other people into this world. I really believe that should be mandated. If you have to do a test before you can start driving, then you should have to do a test before you start getting married and having children. That's just my opinion.
It's a hot take.
It's just my opinion. I believe that there's so many people out here just breeding that is very toxic, and they're just letting the individuals be a part of that and seeing that. And what does that do for the children?
what's going to happen.
So think about it before you get married. Go to counseling. Go and find out if you can live with that person when they're at their highest moment and richest, and find out if you can live with them at the poorest moments. Find out if you can actually take care of them if something happens to them, physically, mentally, and emotionally. What if they are a vegetable for the rest of their life because of something? Are you able to still love that person? What if that person no longer can perform? Would you step out, or would you be okay and still stay in the marriage? I know, I'm gonna go back to my parents, my not my biological mother, but my stepmom, the one who raised me, and my father have been married since I was 14, and I'm 50 now, so that's like 30 something years of marriage, and my father has dementia, on early onset dementia, and my father is no longer able to do anything he ever did. And she found out when he had a mental breakdown that he cheated a lot, and a whole bunch of things about him that is no longer who she married. He is not who she married, and she didn't know it. And she still takes care of him because she made a promise. And I don't think she's ever stepped out on him, and if she did, I'm not mad at her. I don't know how she can put up with what she found out. I don't know if I'd be able to. He lived a whole nother life with a whole nother family behind her back without her knowing, and almost in her face. I don't know. I don't know.
It's a lot to unpack.
Let's see what Danny says.
I honestly have went through phones, and I wish I hadn't. I don't think less of others who have or agree that the relationship is over. That's just my thoughts, though. If it can be discussed and moved past, then it's an accomplishment at the end of the day.
I'll agree.
I think, yeah, it's just being in tune. I don't think trust. To answer the question, I don't think trust can be lost as long as you're communicating correctly. I think in a lot of cases, yeah, probably. I think this is really highly dependent on the gravity of the situation. But even in bad circumstances, when you leave somebody, if you still want to leave on good terms, it certainly does change the course of how you view things. I think toxic ex culture is really quite toxic, to be honest. And I get why it does exist and why it has to. But communication. Sonny Dillard. That's true love. We never know true love until it actually is tested.
And that's true. And I don't even think it's a trust thing anymore. It don't even get to the point of trust anymore, because he's not going to do anything. He can't do anything. He's just sits there and watch TV all the time, and now she takes care of him. Um, she made a promise, and in her head, he's still the man that she married, even though she found out so much more about him. She's not going to let that. She's not going to let that change the image of who he is to her.
So they're getting along.
She takes care of him.
Take care.
She goes from taking care of children to go home and take care of her husband.
Caregivers.
That's what she is.
Telling you.
She's a caregiver,
They
and
give care.
that's all she is to him, and it's nothing more. And I have mad respect for her for so many levels, because I don't know if I could. I saw a video one time where this guy, his wife had got into a car accident, and I don't know how real this is, but his wife got into a car accident. She's in a vegetable state. He took care of her, and he would wash her and everything. And then finally he got the phone back. It took 3 years for him to get the phone back. He finally got the phone back from the accident, and found out the reason why she got into a car accident, because she was on a video chat with someone that she was going to cheat with, and there was videos on there of them constantly cheating.
Oh.
And he took care of her for 3 years, and when he found that, he put her in a home.
feel like that may be a reasonable.
But first, he let her replay that. He played the video over and over of her cheating to him.
It's like a movie. I mean,
I
right? Yeah.
don't know if it's real or it was made up, but at the end of the day, I don't know how I would feel. SGF Graham, what's your take on that?
I honestly don't even have a take over that. I just been listening and shaking my head. So you're gonna have to go to someone else to this.
I feel you. I feel you because I'm right along with you. I feel you.
SGF, I hope we're not just triggering you over and over again. We care. Sorry, bud.
Oh, I'm
Get it.
definitely not that person or whatever. You know, I know people that are male and female that are, and to me it's a wow or whatever, you know. But you know, I really don't even know what to say to that one. I'm gonna just listen.
Yeah,
I feel you.
that's okay.
I feel you because I don't know how I'd respond. Honestly, I'm not mad at him for taking her and putting her in a home. And I told my mom, I told her, if you ever stepped on my dad, I'm not mad at you for it at all.
Non-violent revenge. There's something maybe to be said about that.
You're still gonna take care of him, but my dad is 13 years older than her. She's aged taking care of him. And to find out everything he did, and we knew about it because it wasn't in our face. We seen it, and we tried to tell her, and she didn't want to believe us. So when she found out firsthand, and we didn't know about everything, but we knew about majority of it. And when she found out firsthand from everything, man, I wouldn't be mad at her if she did. I love her more because she ain't, and because she's taking care of my dad, and I love my dad. But like at the end of the day, I wouldn't be mad.
Oh, this is heavy.
It is heavy.
Ass show
It
today.
is heavy. But how do you go from, let's say they cheated. Let's say the marriage and they cheated and they both cheated. How do you recover from that? I mean, that's where it comes to the ego part, or the awareness, to be aware of yourself without having an ego and whatnot. Can you both? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's safe though. I'm just letting you know right now. I'm with Henry on the whole monogamy thing. If you can have an open relationship. You can be with someone who doesn't hold regards to sex. I don't hold regards to sex. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't care. I don't think sex and love are the same thing at all. I
No.
don't think they go hand in hand, not one bit. I can love somebody and never have sex with them, and then I can have sex with somebody and not love them.
The percentage, I'm sure, is pretty high of married people who respectively watch their own porn. So what's that say? I mean, with sentience comes great sexuality. It's hard to overcome. Heck, I know people get addicted to it.
What'd Kendall say?
I've always told people to pull the plug on me if I ever go down that road, Kendall says. Cool, there's another show.
That's a whole different show.
That's
That's
a whole
illegal.
different
That's illegal all the way around. So many people are in trouble for that.
Yeah.
That's wrong. Yeah. I don't see no wrong in it, but I get where she's coming from.
I've always wanted to try the open relationship, except right now I'm a full introvert right now. Oh,
So, how do we balance though? How do we have a healthy balance of self-awareness? Gilly, what's a healthy balance of self-awareness?
A healthy balance of self-awareness. I think to be aware of your actions, to be willing to reflect on them, to be willing to look at whether or not they're helpful or harmful to you and to others, and to be able to make changes or take steps that will help you make changes if they're not. but also not to be so self-aware that you break yourself down, you nitpick yourself, and you become afraid to do anything. For instance, I have a fear of hurting people, so I often filter my actions. I filter my needs, my wants, the things that I say to an unhealthy extent, to an extent where I no longer am necessarily acting on what I want or what I need. So I think that when you are either ignoring your own wants or needs or ignoring other people's wants and needs, that's when you've gotten to an unhealthy balance.
So Google says a mindful observation, being aware of your thoughts, feelings, and actions without judgment, allowing you to observe them objectively. Objectively, it says acknowledging your strengths and weaknesses, and with kindness and understanding rather than harsh self-criticism. Recognizing your own needs and emotions while also understanding and respecting the needs and emotions of others. Percival.
Purposeful reflection. Actively engaging in introspection and self-reflection to gain a deeper understanding of yourself. Emotional regulation is developing the ability to manage your emotions effectively rather than them being overwhelmed by them. Action and growth. Using your self-awareness to make positive changes in your life and relationships. Balance between me and us, understanding your own needs and emotions while also being able to understand and support the needs of others.
That's a healthy balance. Now, when you're in a relationship, hello, family. Tim Kranz. So, when you're in a relationship, people should just treat people the way they want to be treated. If you can't treat someone the way you want to be treated, then maybe you have to figure out how you want to be treated. Tim, what's your opinion? Because these are all just opinions of others. What's your opinion of the subject about being aware of self without your ego, a healthiness? What does he say there, though?
If you got a minute, and we're sorry your wife has the bug, norovirus. Sounds like you care though, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
I get self-awareness. While we're waiting for Tim, it's being self-aware is being aware of your ego and keeping that in check. We think highly of ourselves. It's okay. You can be proud of yourself, but if you're self-aware enough to not inflate that up and let it crush people.
Also, this says balance of having to be able to balance and manage your stress. And I think that has a lot to do with our last topic that we talked about, when you have a loud head, a loud mind.
Causing
Chaos. If you can't balance your stress and you're not able to meditate or take time out for self to balance your stress, stuff builds up. We talked about this today. When we don't mention things and we don't talk about things when they happen, they will build up, and then it becomes a ticking time bomb of explosions.
Yeah. That and putting boundaries up so you have that. That's part of it too, I guess. And then self-awareness can be a bad thing. You ask that question too. If you're so hyper self-aware that maybe you start becoming super aware of scrutiny of others and then your own flaws and stuff. So that's once again balance that we talked about.
And it says encourage positive change within yourself. What did Tim say?
Tim says, I'd say it means knowing your boundaries and your strengths and weaknesses, and showing your true self to others, and being okay with that. Oh yeah.
And this one too.
Kendall, feel better. I had it 2 weeks ago. Hydration helps, or tea. Great
Hydration.
suggestions.
Yes. So SGF Graham, what's your take on a healthy balance of awareness?
For me, make sure I got people around me that's not afraid to tell me what they see. Well, whether I agree with them or not, or whatever, you can't tell me if you don't think you can tell me how you feel about what I'm doing, like, hey, that might be wrong, or are you okay, or whatever, it takes me having to say something and they be like, hey, I was gonna say something because I noticed it, I don't really want them around because they'll watch me crash and they'll say I told you so. So I just try to keep people around me that's not afraid. They can take the criticism and they'll give it.
That's
I
important.
like that too. I like that too. So I like emotional regulation, developing the ability to maintain your emotions effectively rather than overwhelming them. A lot of people, and I'm not speaking in general of one or two people. I have met more people not able to handle their emotions than I have those that know how to regulate. I love watching, and it's so odd. I don't know why I love watching it, but when the balloon, that red balloon thing, when they're popping the balloons on people, I like watching that for some reason. It's like my whole talk show thing. I don't know. I love that. So when I watched that, this one guy said on there, and the girl, she looked like she was toxic all the way around, like she was gonna be a handful, and she enjoyed that. And the guy was like, I like a challenge, and he was like, I will never ever move my peace. I'm going to maintain my peace and I will come to you and I will ask you, is there something I can do for you to help you? Or is there something that we can work on together? And I think that's a great balance in a relationship. If somebody is manic and they're all over the place, you have somebody carrying peace, I think you can have a beautiful balance there. But you both have to be mindful of it and you both have to come together and want that.
Sure.
Because how we talked about, you can't sacrifice yourself to save somebody that doesn't want to be saved. It's exhausting. Exhausting. Gilly, say it. I know you want to say it.
What? Exhausting to try to save others?
You know it is.
It is, and it can be rewarding when you see that it makes a difference. And when you're able to build a relationship with somebody that you really love, despite things that are difficult. I think that it's hard for me because boundaries is something that I struggle with, and I always have, because I always am worried about encroaching on the boundaries of other people with my own boundaries, if that makes any sense. And it's just something that's deeply rooted in me that I have to be aware of and I have to constantly address. However, I've never felt bad about giving someone love.
Me either.
And there are times that I feel maybe cheated, that things weren't as reciprocal or equitable, but it doesn't negate how I would have acted. And so I think maybe for me, the balance is being with somebody who I'm aware of who I am and I'm aware of how I'll act in certain situations, and somebody who loves and respects me and won't take advantage of that. I think there's that aspect too. So that you don't, you were talking about a person who's manic and a person who cares, who's calm, who brings the calm. Well, it also takes the person who's manic saying, look, I know I have these times that I'm a little extra, that I'm that I'm exhausting even to myself. And being appreciative and maybe seeking help from other people, not just your partner, so that it doesn't all fall on the partner, or having, you know, safe words or things that when somebody is getting too overwhelmed. But yeah, it can be exhausting. It can be exhausting. It can be, and I think it falls out. I keep cutting out. I'm having some.
Oh no.
Am I still frozen?
No, not now.
No, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I think that's all I was going to say.
I agree with safe words.
What's it say?
I think that there are some people who have difficult.
Well, Gilly, you cut out really, really bad. While we're waiting, we got DJ, aka Miss Lady Beats, in the building. What's up?
Oh,
What about
peace and
people
love.
on the autism spectrum?
Everything cut out except autism spectrum. And I think that's something to look into.
Gilly, if you come back in, because you're froze right now, when you come back in, did you know that I tagged you in something?
Right.
No, you froze again, my love. I tagged you in something when someone said that they had the autistic spectrum of something, and I tagged you in it. Did you see it? Did you feel like you could relate to that?
Oh, you're bad, hon.
You're going in and out. I was, yes. Oh.
You're gonna have to dip and come back, Gilly.
You're leapfrogging a game.
And thank you for highlighting Miss Lady Beats.
Yes, thank you.
We appreciate it. Well,
so it does make a difference, and that's what I was gonna say. It makes a difference whether if she's really begging. There you go. You're back. Gilly, you're back.
oh dear.
Oh my goodness, she's okay, but she's not. You back? I'm gonna try to remove her to come back.
Kick Gilly.
I didn't mean to kick you. I love you. Come back.
If you see this, Gilly.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi is messing up. So sorry, y'all. Please come back though. But anyhow, I do believe that it makes a difference whether somebody is really wanting that, because if you feel like it's a attack, it's going to make you go further away from it. So it has to be a want. It has to be something that's equally needed and wanted. I don't know, like, I don't know. Go ahead.
Well, we don't want to attack each other, right?
No.
That's the goal, is to communicate properly.
Did you have a point in life, SGF Graham, where you felt like no matter what someone said to you that they were attacking you?
Yeah.
How'd you work through that?
Isolation. Understanding my faults. Shadow work, like I said, it was about like 2 years of damn near isolation, besides who I was working with. I wasn't hanging out, going out to the clubs, being in the spots to be seen. There was none of that. I was doing a lot of figuring out soul work, trying to figure out what I believe in, what I don't believe in, why do I believe in it, why don't I believe it. Like, I did a lot of me work. So, a lot of people aren't willing to do that And it might not. It might take you only a few weeks for a certain individual or whatever. For me, it took a couple of years for me to figure out. Then I was able to be sociable again, and even now, it's even if I feel like they attacking me, I really don't care. Like that's about the only difference.
See, that's good. That is good.
I like that though, because what I too went to the phase where I thought I was always constantly being attacked, and what I had to do was the same thing. Um, when I'm on my 40-day fast, that helped me so much to remove what's not of me, to receive what is for me, and I had to do a lot of shadow work and self reflecting, and when I fasted away from more than just food. I fasted from myself, spiritually and for a different look in life. And I really came to terms with a lot of things, and I was able to receive things differently. I was able to receive someone saying something to me without me feeling like attacked, not just attacked, feel like that I was the main target audience. You ever walk into a church and they say, "Oh, here's a new member," and everybody looked at you? That's how I felt in life for the longest time. And it took me to being able to isolate myself and to deny myself from things to be able to receive that. I had to go head first and hard just to be able to receive the fact that not everybody's looking at me.
No, not caring about what people think about you is it's a hell of a good skill to hone there, you know. As Jeff said.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I don't obviously I don't walk up I don't do anything I don't want to do or don't feel like doing or don't I don't let people impose upon me anymore. I did that for way too long. You know, I tried to bow down to standards that weren't of me. And now I don't know, I either polarize people or I draw the ones I want in. And I couldn't be happier. Give two shits what people think about me, Mark. I know my motives are pure. Let's talk about it. You start a bunch of shit with me and get angry. I don't know. Let's go back to your childhood, bud.
When I stopped caring, that's it. When I stopped caring and I started learning to love and appreciate, I mean, I stopped looking in the mirror. I stopped everything. I don't know what they're doing.
We get a lot of people posting things. Red Pill Rage channel and Wendy.
Yeah, I don't know. But at the end of the day, thank you for tuning in. What is your guys' take on self awareness without your ego? Do you guys have an opinion on that?
Yeah. It's a great podcast. Thank you guys.
Wendy or Red Pill?
I like that Red Pill Rage channel. I don't know. We covered so much tonight, you know. I'm very aware.
All right, so let's wrap it up then. SGF Graham, let's leave on a happy note, some positive energy.
Okay. How about letting Henry go first and then come back to me?
Oh,
Okay.
That's
Okay.
okay. I'll go first. You know, get right with yourself. Get your mind right. Move with purpose, and surround yourself with people who understand that purpose and want to support you. That can be in relationships or with your peers, but either way, if you believe in yourself and don't let your ego get inflated about it, and keep a healthy balance, as with all things in life, it should be a hell of a lot smoother sailing for you. And yeah, love always wins. Can't go wrong with that.
He said, repeat the question. What do you think about the subject? The subject is being aware of yourself, healthy without your ego.
And please do rewatch. We've got a lot of streams. We talk about a lot of mental health topics, all kinds of stuff.
Kendall says, be kind to yourself and others. And then I think that oh yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Love the positivity.
we tried. Danny!
Husband,
Hey, how you
we're
guys
gonna
doing?
we're gonna wrap it up on a positive note. What's your positive take on this?
Well, like I've said before, when you release that ego with self awareness, there's no need to prove anything. So I mean, just know who you are and watch your ego and everything you do. And I mean, that's the best advice I can give, and that's coming from my own personal experience.
Heck yeah, Danny.
Red Pill said, I think it's a good thing. Ego leads to a downfall. Sometimes it can.
Yeah, it sure can.
And it's always not always a bad thing to have an ego. It's just a bad thing to lead with it. S. Jeff Graham, you ready for your positive note?
Be fair to yourself, love yourself, care what others have to say, and take heed to what people say about yourself.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that too. Sometimes we are the problem when we don't even know it.
Yeah, listen.
So take it in with positive, constructive criticism or constructive advice. How about that? Constructive advice. Take it in. If it's coming from someone of love and someone from a good place, then receive what they're saying with that same energy that they're giving it to you with. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and we are the People's Podcast. So please tune in next Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And may your night be full of positive energy and high vibrations. And love yourself, because love is the answer and the key. Peace and love, everyone.
Peace, peace.
Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is, where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. When them tries to kill you, but with faith you recover. Yeah, peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goals regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's an art tool. Reflect on all the juice like torture. It's on you, tell the truth.
Yeah, we about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. We about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. We about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. Listen. Yeah, aim in the fit so you see in the mirror. Play with your focus and watch it get clear. Polish your crown, turn it up if you wear it. You live in the root, release what you're fearing. And watch it all rise, the righteous will hear it. They calling us twisted, I'm not even caring. Because it's unseen, the mind is too barren. They won't even heal it, they pass it to cheering. We over here healing, conversing and listening. Know that the truth isn't always appealing, but end it with healing and find your beginning. Frequency positive, what you receiving. Perception is up to you, what you believing. What you retrieving, mentally speaking. Life that they breathing, no words from a heathen. Don't know it all, but together undefeated. Conversation, rather want it, you need it. Come fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah, Jesus, Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the trial with the students and teachers. All got a voice, we the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. Conversation, rather want it, you need it. Come fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah, Jesus, Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the trial with the students and teachers. All got a voice, we the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. Hey. Yeah.
We about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. We about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. Praying for truth cause the world is spirit so fickle. Keeping my mental, how clean is a whistle? Attention's a trap, they can lead you astray. Sneering this shit through the storm and the haze. Real conversations are lost in the greed. Others get lost in the web that it weaves. Sift through the rhetoric, uncover schemes. Knowledge inherited, this is imperative. I got a lot on my mind and I'm sharing it. Apples to oranges, it ain't no comparisons. I'm the type that'll never break character. I'm the type to make memories and cherish them. Trust intuition and doubt of disparity. Pursuing the echoes of wisdom. Chasing that moment of clarity. Conversation rather one and you need it. Come fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah or Jesus. Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the track with the students and teachers. All got a voice who the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. Conversation rather one and you need it. Come fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah or Jesus. Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the track with the students and teachers. All got a voice who the ears that'll listen. Who the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. Huh?
It's on, you tell the truth.